Hello, I'm James. You may remember me. I'm the one who brings you around the Slater. And if you look around, we are not in Albany anymore. I'm here on tugboat Jupiter with its main caretaker, Chris.
It's been, I guess, about a year now since I took over the leadership of the project to get her underway again. But she is maintained by the Philadelphia Ship Preservation Guild, and she has been in Philadelphia as a museum ship since 1989.
Are there, so when you said volunteers, are there any paid staff that oversee this, or?
Not the Tug Jupiter. So the Philadelphia Ship Preservation Guild at large does have one full-ish time employee that largely is on tall ship Gazelle. But the Tug Jupiter has a substantially smaller budget than Gazelle, and does not have any paid staff whatsoever. You got welding. It's a pretty big one. Knowing how to be an engineer on board a ship like this, how to operate all this machinery and not hurt yourself. Because we've got things like exposed 120 volt DC switches from World War II. You need a captain. I am not the captain. That's not me. So you need somebody that knows how to operate the boat, from the wheelhouse. You need plumbers, you need electricians, you need carpenters, you need roofers to some extent, because the systems in place to keep the water out are very similar to flat roofing on houses.
You know what they say, a house is just a really poorly built boat. Is there any plan to, when she's fit to go out again, is there the possibility of taking passengers?
I mean, there's always the possibility.
I know this thing drinks a lot of fuel.
She is thirsty. Yeah, it burns about 3 to 4 gallons per hour at idle, not moving. And that's not counting the generators, although they kind of sip fuel. The concept that someone will be able to buy a ticket and go for a ride on Jupiter is very, very far down the road, if at all.
Yeah. All right, this is a bit. What projects do you have on your radar now, top of the list?
The top priority right now is getting the generators running again. There's very little stopping them from running at this point. We're just working on putting number one back together. We got a couple of contacts to clean on starters, basically deferred maintenance over the last 5 years, things like that. And we need to get the water pump installed on the main engine. Mechanically speaking, that's our top priorities right now, but the biggest priority from a structural perspective is actually getting our boat deck, which is the upper deck where the wheelhouse is, back into shape. There are 3 layers on the boat deck right now. There is a patched original layer, which was tongue and groove beadboards. Some of that is plywood as it got repaired over the years. Some of it's still painted canvas. Some of it's fiberglass. Some of it's God knows what. And then there's 2 different layers of plywood on top of that where they basically just said, all right, we give up fixing this layer. We're going to coat the entire roof and install a whole layer of plywood and another layer of waterproofing, and then somebody did that yet again. So we stripped all that back, and we're going to get down to that original layer. We're going to make the repairs we need to on that original layer, and then we're going to put one fresh new layer of plywood down and waterproofing on top of that. And this is actually the temporary plan. The bigger plan, what we're trying to get back to, is to restore the entire structure, where we would be talking about replacing steel pieces. We're doing a little bit of steel work as part of this because we have no choice. But the big job is we really want to get back. We want to replace those pieces, with appropriate, maybe partner with one of the shipyards in the area that can roll beams for us, get back to the original sizes. Rebuild the wheelhouse as it was originally. Currently there are several windows that are actually covered over, that one of the owners somewhere along the line said, we don't need those windows, so they covered them over.
In a perfect world, you can do everything as original as possible, but no one's going around doing hot riveting.
So nobody is doing hot riveting right now, but that is definitely one of my pet projects. I have been making some steps towards contacting people who can help us out with the knowledge. and choice of tools. Things
Would
of
this
that
be
nature.
a cosmetic thing, or would you really want to just cut things back and then patch it in, rivet it?
I would say a little bit of both. I think it depends upon what area of the vessel we're talking about. Under the waterline, if we get back to that again, certainly we're going to be relying heavily on welding. But anything that is aesthetic, that is really in the public view, I'd like to have it riveted, and there's no reason why it can't just be riveted. We have the technology, after all.
Yeah, I hope so. Now I hear there's a really big opportunity coming up related to Battleship New Jersey.
Yep.
And that also goes back in Jupiter's history, if you want to talk about that.
It sure does. Yeah, so in 1942, Jupiter had been back in Philadelphia for 3 years, and the big battleship was being launched from the Navy Yard, and Jupiter was actually the lead boat on the job. And we have the pictures to prove it. She was actually on the bow pulling, and there was a lot of other boats there at the same time as well. But yeah, so one might say that Jupiter and New Jersey's histories are intrinsically connected at this point. But we are working very hard to make sure that roughly 60 days out from that Jupiter is in condition to escort New Jersey back home again.
This is an EMD 12567
CA.
CA.
Yep.
All right, so, and this came out of an LST.
Correct. We do actually know which boat it came out of. I just don't have that glued in my brain.
That's going to be on the screen, which boat it came. Camera operator comes along down. So we've got the engine, which is electric start, 60 volt. It's the biggest engine starter you've ever seen. And you can tell it's an EMD because it has this ungodly large supercharger here.
2 of them.
Total! Oh, is there one for each bank?
One for each bank, yeah. And they're actually, they're referred to more as blowers than superchargers.
Because it's like, what, 1 or 2 PSI?
Exactly, yeah. They're more like for scavenging.
Yeah. And then this is our gearbox here. And that's it. Turns the screw / prop, and then you go places. Now, here, I'll take the camera and we will look at the largest starter that you've ever seen on camera. Now, I thought we were cool because we have a 36 volt starter on the Slater, but look at that thing. 60 volt.
Yep.
Bigger than my hand.
That's old Sparky.
Old Sparky. What does Jupiter need right now?
Well, same thing every one of these boats needs. Money, money, and more money.
Okay.
There is very little that we can't do if we have proper funding.
Okay.
In the near short term, we're going to be looking for probably about $250,000 in grants to completely redo the boat deck and the wheelhouse.
And you're going to do that all in the water, right? You're not going to haul out?
Correct. That will be done in the water. Yeah. If anybody's got spare parts for these engines, or anything to do with these boats, steel, we can absolutely accept material donations. Even things that we don't need right now, we do have places to store things. We have 2 fairly large bays on the Guild's work barge Poplar, which is a short walk from here.
Okay. So you've got room for it.
We do have room for it, particularly 271 parts. Anything that is specific marine 271 is very worth having on hand.
So what is your email? I take it that's the best way to
contact.
reach out.
So there's several ways to contact us. We have Tug Jupiter on Facebook. You can go to our website, which is philashipguild.org, philashipguild.org. You can make a donation directly through the website. You can sign up for our weekly update, or you can just follow along and see what's going on with the boats. We're going to be making some changes to the website soon, but it is still functional at this time, and you can sign up for the Guild's weekly update, and that'll keep you updated on the Tall Ship Gazelle and the Tug Jupiter.
All right. Thanks a bunch, Chris.
Sure thing.
It's been
Thanks for coming.
quite a drive out here, but it was totally worth it because I missed Jupiter the first time around.
Well, we're back at it. So if you make it down again, we'll get you aboard again and show you how much progress we made.
Yeah, we'll go for a drive.
Hopefully.